Welcome back. I'm Andrew from Infinite Light, where we create content on helping people be free. Today I'm going to be reviewing the DJI Air 2S and the DJI FPV drone. I'm even using the DJI mics just because I'm reviewing both of these drones. Stephanie and I moved into a new apartment. This is the new studio. What do you guys think? So we just got back from the Iberian Peninsula. We were there for about a month. During that month, we went to 6 different cities and I brought these 2 drones with me around everywhere. I had a medium suitcase and I had to make sure everything fit properly in order to zip it up because it was just so full. I'll be going over which drone I like using better in which situation, which one came out more, and if I had to do it all over again, which one would I bring? I don't know, it's not really a fair comparison, but sure. Okay, let's get right into it. In that month, I flew for hours. It almost felt like I was starting to develop a problem. Like I couldn't be able to sleep because I want to wake up and get the sunrise, or I'd want to do this FPV shoot early in the morning. That way I get nice lighting and there's not that many people, because I still get drone anxiety when I'm flying near people. There's less people in the morning too, so that's one less thing I have to worry about. But on those nights, I had such a hard time sleeping. I knew I had to wake up soon, and since I knew I had to wake up, like it was harder for me to sleep. I'm sure some of you guys have been through it, but it got to a point where I wondered, why can't I control my feelings? Why do I keep feeling this excitement and this anticipation? Other people that have performed at a really high level, I don't know, how do they do it? Just like if you have a huge NBA game, the NBA finals are coming up, or how do you deal with that kind of excitement? I don't know, I just like, damn, why can't I control my feelings? And I brought the drone with me everywhere I went. Yeah. Okay, right off the bat, the Air 2S came with me most places. The footprint is so much smaller, it's so much easier to just pack away in my backpack and bring it out with me. It's so much easier to set up. You just take it out, unfold the arms and the propellers, connect your phone to your controller, and you're up and running. Whereas with the DJI FPV drone, you have to bring the drone, the goggles, the controllers, the propellers, you have to screw them on. It's just a lot more stuff to carry around. I'm just like, okay, I'm not bringing it around with me everywhere. I've been carrying this FPV drone around all trip. It's been almost 3 weeks, and this is the 3rd time I get to use it, so this is not even ideal conditions, but I gotta use it, or else why did I even bring it? Takes up the most space too.
But why did you even buy it?
Why did I even buy it? With the FPV drone, I get more drone anxiety, especially because my senses are being blocked. So if someone's telling me, hey, what are you doing flying that drone around here? I'm just like, shit, like I can't just not see where the drone is going. And then I just feel so much more anxious. It's hard to find those perfect conditions for flying your FPV drone. Anywhere we were going somewhere new during golden hour or for the sunrise, I do what I can to get the Air 2S up in the air. With the Air 2S, you pretty much already know what to expect. DJI, they make fantastic drones. They're reliable, they fly well, and they pretty much fly themselves. So you don't really have to worry about it. You're probably just cruising along wherever you go. The transmission is great. You can go pretty far without worrying about it. On the technical sheet, it says that it can go up to 7 miles, but realistically, I think the furthest that I've gotten this to go was 5 miles, sometimes 4. That's still a great range already. The battery life is good, so you can even take it out get it up in the air, fly around, get a few good shots in 5 minutes and still have probably 20 minutes to spare, and put it away and you can get it back out again later. So it's really nice and convenient. You can get a bunch of different shots with it on the same battery. One thing that I was trying to pay attention to was the frame rates. When it's 30 frame rates or below, you get to use the full 1-inch sensor and you get the wider focal length, 22 millimeters. But anything higher than 30 frames per second, 48, 50, 60 frames per second, it crops into a narrower 31 millimeters. And you also don't get to utilize the full 1-inch sensor. I was using that strategically. There's a lot of tourists in the Iberian Peninsula. If you're trying to be a little stealthier and get a nice palace, cathedral, or whatever monument, it's easier to fly further away. That way, people aren't like all looking up at your drone and pointing at it. Okay, that never happens, but some people notice and they point it out, but you know, people forget about it really fast and they move on with their lives. But if you're not worried about that and you want to utilize your full 1-inch sensor and you want the wide angle to show how big and vast the area is, then you just drop back down to 30 frames per second and there you go, you get everything. On top of that, you get log, which is also very useful. I must admit, I've been forgetting to use it, but when I do remember to use it, it's like, oh man, it's so much better than just the regular colors. You get more dynamic range and more flexibility in the colors. It helps a lot when color grading. You have HLG, which is just another color profile that will be useful to use. I should talk about hyperlapses, but I didn't get to do that much hyperlapses. Although I wanted to, but just, I don't know, didn't really go out that much at night. I tried to do one hyperlapse, but it was dark and you're not supposed to be flying in the night anyways. Doing all that drone flying, it got very tiring dealing with the stress all the time. I knew it would be worth it and I just had to stick it through and had to keep pushing and just get it done and get the shots, because yeah, it might be hard for me to sleep while I'm there. Once I get back to the States, I know I'll have no problem sleeping like for the rest of these days while I'm back. While I'm there, push through it, and I can film all this beautiful footage and bring it back with me to the States and I can go over it. Yeah, so much fun and so worth it. Switching to the FPV drone now. It tried to attack me.
We saw that on camera.
You see? Oh man, what a rush. Beautiful views though. The transmission on the FPV drone isn't that great. If you're watching these videos, you've probably seen some really cool ridge dives where they dive all the way down the ridge. It's actually much harder to do with the DJI FPV drone. I guess like the problem with the FPV drone is you have to have like pretty good clearance so you have good connection, or else if it goes like over a cliff or through a mountain, then you lose connection pretty easily and then it stops. Your goggles are gonna go black and you have to wait and be nervous for like 30 seconds while the FPV drone does its return to home and it slowly rises up and you get connection back. So that happens very often, at least once when I try to fly the FPV drone. Something you have to watch out for. You have to actually monitor the signal strength and the goggles transmission and make sure that the bars don't get too low or it's gonna just stop the middle of your dive. It's gonna ruin the mood. And on top of that, when it does stop, it stops your recording too. So you have to remember to press record again before you start zipping around, or else it stops recording and you're just like, all right, I need to get back to it, and you forget to hit record again, then, well, you get to enjoy the fun of flying around, but you don't get to take home the special memories of flying. So the DJI FPV drone, it is the 1/2-inch sensor, and I don't know, either it's my drone flying skills, but this 1/2-inch sensor just doesn't look as good as some of the other clips that I've seen on YouTube. So I'm considering putting the GoPro on it, although I didn't want to because I know it adds weight to it and I just wasn't a fan of that. But maybe if there's GoPro bones or something, then maybe I'll give it a look. But when I do get this up in the air, it's so much fun flying around. I brought my NVIDIA gaming laptop to Europe. I was practicing on liftoff just to make sure I know what I'm doing and I don't accidentally do something incredibly dumb. But I actually found out they collaborated with DJI, so they actually have the FPV drone on the simulator, so I thought that was really cool. And you get to see like the goggles interface when you fly. Sadly, I didn't get to fly as much as I wanted to, but I would still bring it out again, even though there's so much you have to account for when bringing this drone. If I even get to fly it once or twice, it's worth it. Yeah, just not as convenient to travel with. So it's usually when I know that I'm gonna be traveling in a car and I can just hop out of the car, fly the drone around and keep going, then I'll bring it. But if I know that I'm gonna be walking around all day, then I might not bring it. I just stick with the Air 2S because I have other equipment that I have to bring with me. If I know I'm gonna be on a mountain and I know I'm gonna have like ridges to dive and hills to fly around, then I would bring the FPV drone. But if I'm just gonna be like hanging out on a beach and chilling, FPV doesn't seem as useful to me because everything's flat and you have to have way more skill to get epic shots. I'd go with the Air 2S. Especially when going somewhere new, it's much easier to scout out the place first before flying the FPV. And the 1-inch sensor is way too beautiful to pass up. Also, it's a really cool way of filming yourself or others for filming. So that's it for me. So if you feel like you're stuck in a rut, stuck in a loop, and you want to break out of it and go on an adventure, or just follow me on mine, because I'm coming out with more content to help you believe in yourself to accomplish what you want to do. So hit the like button, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Peace.